once Angie's have this information from the leads, they can basically sell it to up to 10 different contractors. But not only that, this lead hasn't been told that his information is going to be sold. If you specifically know when to target, how to target, who your specific prospect is, because this is actually sad and it's going to not sound really well, but you as a contractor, the only thing that you want is to work with high income people, with people that can actually afford your services, right? So why would you want to waste your time with low income people, right? That's the point. Honestly, I've talked with dozens of contractors, and whenever you tell them about that you can do this with marketing, it blows their mind away. So today is whiteboard day, as you can already see it. And what this basically means is that I'm going to make it as much understandable as possible for yourself to get my point across. And so today I wanted to talk about leads, but not any type of leads. I wanted to talk about leads that actually buys, that actually converts into customers, right? Because again, I was talking with this local business owner. He was actually more of a contractor itself that has multiple locations, 3 locations, right? And so the thing that amused me is that whenever I ask a contractor or a local business owner what is the way that they generate leads, they're gonna say word of mouth, right? Word of mouth marketing, by which I mean by that is that, for example, uploading posts on Facebook, Instagram, or whatever the platform may be, or then paying for a lead service provider. And usually the ones that they have or tend to have in place are these 2, right? So either the word of mouth, because at the end of the day, whenever you own a local business, what tends to happen is that you have a great service, you have a great product, so people like sharing it to their friends and recommend it to more people, right? And then we have the second one, which is this one right here, which is paying for service providers. More specifically, paying for, in this case, Angi, HomeAdvisor, Thumbtack, Yelp, or whatever the lead service may be, right? And often a lot of business owners and contractors tend to fall into this category and usually tend to waste a lot of money into these types of lead service providers, right? Because, well, it is a fact, right, that right now they have a lot of lawsuits and, you know, they're not providing what they're essentially trying to sell a lot of contractors on, which is exclusive leads, right? If you don't know, right, Angi's is HomeAdvisor right now, so they're essentially kind of mixed in a way, right? And what this basically means is that if you try to hire HomeAdvisor, you're essentially hiring Angi's, right? But not only that, whenever they try to sell a lead, they not only sell it to up to 10 different contractors, right? So they're selling it to 1 or 10, right? Which it's completely nuts. But not only that, they completely have monopolized the entire first page of Google. And what this basically means is that, for example, when a homeowner, you know, that owns a home, right, is looking for general contracting services, right? Let's say that he's looking for a kitchen or a remodeling contractor, right? So the first thing that he's gonna do is search on Google, right? Google, and they're looking to search for example, kitchen remodeling contractor near me. And so what this search is going to do, since Angi and HomeAdvisor, which is the same contractor, is paying for that specific keyword for that kitchen remodeling contractor near me, what that lead is going to find out is Angi's website, right? And the thing that Angi's is doing right now is that they, first thing first, they ask for their zip code, right? So to really know where this lead is located and to really see if he's actually a real lead or not, or whatever thing may be, right? And so they ask for the zip code, right? And I'm going to put it here, right? So they ask for the zip code, right? To say, okay, this lead is located, let's say, in Indianapolis, okay? Then what they ask is for email, phone number, and name, okay? So let's just say contact info, right? And once they have this vital information from the lead right here, then they show all the contractors that are listed in Angi's, right? And what this basically means is that not only the ones who either pay the most or have the highest reviews will appear at the top, but this also means that this lead right here, who is just looking for a local kitchen remodeling contractor near me, doesn't know that his vital information is getting sold. By which I mean by that is that once Angi's have this information from the leads, they can basically sell it to up to 10 different contractors, right? Which is a lot of money, honestly. But not only that, this lead hasn't been told that his information is going to be sold, right? And I don't know if that ever happened to yourself as a contractor, but I've talked with dozens of them, and the number one thing that they will tell me is that some of them were fluffy leads and some of them were actual real leads that you can talk with, right? And that is because I would say, I don't know, let's say 8 out of 10 leads that will log in to their platform will actually be two people who is actually interested in a kitchen remodeling job, right? The other 8 are just hanging around and really just trying to find some information towards seeing, how much does a kitchen remodeling cost or whatever the thing may be, right? So that's the first problem, right? Whenever you're trying to pay for such big companies, right, you get fluffy leads because at the end of the day, there's such a global companies making so much money that who's gonna care about your small local business, right? Or who's gonna care if you either just own a big old business with multiple locations? They don't care. They're just in for your money, right? And that's what usually tends to happen in a lot of occasions. And I've talked with dozens of contractors and all of them say always the same thing, that their leads are not leads, are not real leads. They don't know what they are, but they are not real leads, right? And that's the explanation. They are selling the information of the leads without them knowing anything about that this information is actually being sold on, right? Now, I hope that this actually kind of explained some past experiences from yourself, that you could be either trying to call a lead and then this lead just saying, I don't even know you, or I'm not even interested, or I already got the job done, which also happened, right? And so that is the reason, because these leads just opt in on their page to search for information. Maybe yes, they're looking for a kitchen, for example, but most of the times they're just looking because that's essentially what Google is for, right? To search information and to actually solve your problem, which is your inquiry that you're looking on Google, right? Now, with that being said, let me actually explain you the one thing that a lot of contractors are not doing, and only the ones that, it's going to sound bad, but only the ones that are currently rich are doing. Only the ones who have leverage, only the ones who are big are the ones that have cracked marketing and are the ones who will truly grow as a business. The ones that are just relying either on word of mouth or paying for other lead service providers are just gonna drown. I mean, if you are really strong, word of mouth can really solidify your business and can really grow it. But if word of mouth is not taking you anywhere or is just allowing you to survive but not actually to grow the business, you will actually drown, right? And so the number one priority you should have is to stop paying for these poor or these scammers in a way, and to actually start running your marketing. And this is the thing that I'm going to explain you right now. How to actually run marketing that is cheap, that actually generates results, and that is actually or can actually adapt for yourself as a contractor, as a roofer, or as a local business that you are, right? How you can actually run marketing profitably so that you can not only have revenue, but actually grow the business and make a lot of money that you can actually reinvest it back again into marketing. So let's get straight into it. All right, so whenever we try to acquire leads as a local business, whenever we try to pay for leads, whenever we try to generate any type of investment or return on investment into our business, the first thing that we always look after is, okay, how much money I'm going to put in and how much money I'm going to get out, okay? And we do all of that. We try to invest all of that in order to not only get a return so that we can actually grow the business, but to get the number one priority, which is leads that are exclusive, right? The number one thing that we get sold whenever we try to any Angi's, HomeAdvisor, Thumbtack, whatever it may be, is exclusive leads, right? That's the first selling point that we have, right? And so whenever we say, okay, I'm going to, let's say, invest $800 into exclusive leads, we end up getting fluffy stuff, right? Because we are paying another company to provide us leads, right? And what do you expect that this company will do with your money? They're going to not only suck it from yourself, but since it's their lead, they're going to do whatever they want with that lead because it's from their business, right? you are not paying specifically for the lead. They are acquiring the lead and then they are selling it to you, right? And what this means is that you are not getting an exclusive lead. They are the ones that get the exclusive lead. You are just paying for the lead to see if you can actually get something, right? But the only way that you can actually get exclusive leads is if you actually look for those leads, right? And the only way that you can actually do that is that instead of being a consumer, you start becoming a creator, right? And what this means is that if you're a consumer, you are paying another business to acquire leads. If you're a creator, you are creating yourself an ecosystem that is able to acquire leads, right? And this is what we often understand as marketing, right? Now, marketing, most of the times, is a word that a lot of businesses are scared of, right? Because they see marketing as that sucking or that spending or expenses or something that is not ever going to do return, right? And let's be honest, I'm 90% sure that most of your experience with marketing are quite bad, right? Straight up, because marketers don't really understand what really marketing means, right? Marketing yourself is showing the action of letting more people know about a specific thing, right? In your case, marketing for a business is marketing showing to more people about your business, right? Now, there are different ways to actually doing marketing. Marketing doesn't really equals $2, right? It doesn't equal $2. Marketing or to spending money. Marketing equals, right, to letting more people get to know about your company, right? And so there are different ways to actually let more people know about your company. Of course, if you pay for advertising, let's put in quote unquote ads, you're going to get what it's called direct response marketing, right? So you are putting, or you are literally paying, let's say you're paying for Google keywords, let's say you're paying for Google Ads, Instagram, wherever the platform may be, right? You are literally paying to show that photo, video, whatever thing may be, to other people so that they can actually give you a response, right? And so that's what we call not only spending money, but direct response marketing. I'm going to, in fact, put it in here, right? And so the only goal of doing direct response marketing is to pay money to let people know that you exist so that they can actually answer back, give you a response towards possibly, enrolling with your business or actually, getting you as a service or whatever thing may be, right? But that is not the only goal of letting more people know about your company. There's also one thing called social media. And not only social media, which can involve, for example, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Google itself, right? Not only social media, but there's something that is more valuable than ever, which is attention, right? And so whenever you are watching the TV, whenever you are scrolling through Instagram, YouTube, whatever the thing may be, you are selling your attention. You are literally selling your attention for other people to get to know about them. So just to put your example, right? This video that you're watching right now, I'm not paying YouTube to upload it, right? I'm just wasting my own time recording myself to show you something that is completely free on my end, that will not only reach people, but will make it free for myself, but will potentially get to know about my company, right? And so that's the goal that every company has, right? Why do you think that, for example, Nike sponsors, for example, LeBron James or Michael Jordan, right? Because you want to not only associate your company to a core value itself, because whenever you look at Michael Jordan, you see the best basketball ever, or the best player, or LeBron James, you always tend to say they are the GOATs, right? But what Nike wants to do is associate the GOATs with their brand, right? And so whenever you're trying to not only run paid ads or to give it or to upload posts on social media in order to have attention, right? You're trying to associate your brand with something that you can sell to a customer, right? And so I'm sure that you got sold a lot of marketing services, especially during these times, because honestly, everyone and their mom is trying to sell you on marketing services. I'm sure about it, and I'm sure that you're tired about it. But the thing is that a lot of contractors get the marketing thing wrong, and that is why you probably get a lot of hits. If you were actually, or if you knew how those marketing works, I would guarantee you that less people would actually try to reach out to you, right? Now, how can you actually start doing, social media, for example, to get organic leads, outbound leads, right? How can you actually make more people to know about your company, and how to essentially can you make direct response advertising that are actually cost effective and that will not only drive you sales, but will actually be profitable for you to reinvest in it and actually grow the business, right? Let me actually show that to you. All right, so whenever you're trying to run ads, for example, for your local business, whenever you're trying to get more people to know about your company, the number one thing you're trying to do is to not only let more people know about your stuff, right? But trying to sell an idea, trying to sell something that could potentially work for themselves, right? And that is the first thing that we really have to look after, right? Which is branding itself. Whenever we think about branding, right, really have to look at our brand as a prospect perspective. By which I mean by that is that if you see a post, if you see a billboard, if you see a truck, if you see whatever the thing may be with your logo attached to it, your brand, what is the customer going to think about it? And if you put in their skin, then you can actually analyze things more critically and say, okay, if I was a prospect, for example, looking to get a kitchen, would I actually buy from this brand or would I try to go to another one, right? And then is where the authority, kicks in, right? The more reviews you have, the more social proof you have, the more, for example, Facebook followers you have, the more, for example, Instagram followers you have, the more before and afters you have, right? Before and afters you have, the more case studies, the more reviews. Let's say I'm going to draw a star in here, for example. The more people knows about yourself, the more people has actually tried out your services, the more authority you will have, which will eventually make more people to buy from your services, right? It's kind of a snowball. The bigger it gets, the bigger it will eventually get in the future, right? And so how can you actually get authority by being an established business? So I'm going to put two options in here, right? One is that you are an established business, right? And one that you are a new business, right? And what established and new business means doesn't really mean how much experience or how much time have you been into business, because honestly, this doesn't really matter for the prospect. The only thing that matters from the prospect is what can you do for them, essentially. I mean, it's sad, but it's true, right? But what I mean with established business and what I mean with new businesses is that how much leverage have you been able to get just from the years that you've been in business, right? An established business usually have, let's say, more than 100 reviews, for example, right? Established business have, for example, more than 500 followers on Instagram, Facebook, whatever the platform may be, right? Established business have their own website, right? But only not only a website that you can only reach out to them, but actually a website where it actually establishes trust, right? And all of these things will eventually create an ecosystem, right? That will be able to generate appointments and leads on autopilot because they have all these in place, right? And so whenever you're a new business, maybe you don't have those 100 reviews, maybe you just have 6 reviews, right? Whenever you're a new business, even though you've been a lot of years into business, maybe you just have 100 followers on your social media, right? Maybe you just have a website, right? But that website doesn't establish trust, by which I mean by that, you don't get results at all, right? And not getting results with your website means that essentially you don't have a website, because what's the point of having a website if you're not driving traffic into it, right? And so the reason why established business have these two things right here is because they've been able to get leverage. They've been able to upload things about their jobs before and afters, right? And once they are able to build this, then is when with a single post, they're able to reach, for example, let's say 100 people. And out of those 100 people, maybe 10 of them actually click and then they go into the website, right? And so on the website, then they see not only themselves, but they actually see that they're a trusted contractor that they can actually look after, right? So, which again creates this ecosystem, right? But now, let's say that you are not established, you are kind of new into this whole game of the marketing, right? And so you don't really post often, which eventually doesn't really put traffic into your website. And if you don't have trust, you just have a commoditized website that doesn't really tell anything to the prospect, you're not getting results. And that is just the truth, right? Now, there's a solution for both of these businesses, because even if you're big or if you're small, marketing can literally save your life. And that is the reason why I'm recording you this video. Because if you know how to run the marketing, which is the thing that I'm going to explain you in these next drawings that I'm going to do, if you specifically know when to target, how to target, who your specific prospect is, because this is actually sad and it's going to not sound really well, but you as a contractor, the only thing that you want is to work with high income people, with people that can actually afford your services, right? So why would you want to waste your time with low income people, right? That's the point. So on that note being said about branding and about how to actually be appealable for your public, for this new prospect that is going to eventually visit your website or your local showroom or wherever the thing may be, then is where we really have to be able to save your business or to scale your business, right? Let's actually put scale your business profitably, right? So if the only thing that we want to focus on is to actually get more customers and to scale our business profitably, right? We want to really make sure that if we are investing money into our business, at least it gives us profit so that we can only keep living our lives, but actually create something bigger than what is currently are, right? And so the number one thing that you have to look after when you're trying to, for example, hire a marketing agency, when you're trying to hire someone to basically help you out in bringing more customers, it is the targeting, okay? Because we already talked about the branding and we already talked that we have to be appealable for homeowners to contact us. But once we are appealable, we have to really define our targeting. And what this means, I'm going to repeat myself, but if our only goal is to, for example, sell kitchens that are at least $20,000 or above, why would we want to focus on doing, for example, percentage off or wherever the thing may be, right? Of course, if you run offers, you're going to inevitably have way more business and way more people to talk to, right? But whenever we're dealing with especially rich people doesn't really care if it's going to cost them $2,000 up or $2,000 down, right? They just care that they're going to have a great deal with someone they can trust, and they're eventually going to have the best kitchen that they can buy based on their budget, right? And so whenever we're trying to find our targeting, we have to say, okay, if I want to run marketing for my own services, what desired customer would I want to sell to, right? So we want to sell to high income homeowners, because it's not only going to help us be more profitable, but it's actually going to be better for us during the sales process, right? And if we're actually great human beings, it will probably be one of the best sales that we're ever going to do, because we won't have to nearly discuss on price. Of course, homeowners always want to get the best deal, but most of the times you're going to essentially get a great job itself, right? Then, if we just want to target high income homeowners, and we want to do that by using marketing, quote unquote, for example, Google keywords, right? Google ads or Facebook ads, right? The thing is that there are two main differences that I want you to understand, right? If you are currently doing Google ads, right? Maybe it's giving you results, maybe it's not, maybe it's super expensive, maybe it's not, maybe it's just giving profit for yourself. But the first thing that you have to understand is that there are two main differences between these two types of ads that you're currently running, right? Google ads or Google keywords, the only thing that you're doing is paying for a specific keyword, right? And what this means is that you're paying, for example, let's say that you are, for example, a kitchen remodeler in Indianapolis, right? So you are paying for kitchen remodeling contractor in Indianapolis. Okay, let's put that example, right? And so what you're doing with your budget essentially is giving Google, let's say for example, I don't know, 20 bucks a day, 50 bucks a day to boost this keyword. So whenever people goes into Google and searches for kitchen remodeling contractor in Indianapolis, you're going to appear at the top. You're probably going to find competition, by the way, if you want to try for this keyword, and you're going to have to pay even more money than just 20 or 30 bucks, right? But let's just put it as an example for the sake of this video, okay? Every time that someone from Indianapolis searches kitchen remodeling contractor in Indianapolis, if you're paying for this keyword, you're going to appear in there. But the problem is that you are fully dependent on the lead actually searching that specific keyword or not, right? Which make it, I would say, pretty much really expensive for yourself to actually bet on these types of keywords, right? And another thing that you're currently doing is that you are not deciding if this lead is actually qualified, financially qualified for your services, because you're just paying for the keyword. You're not paying for the lead, right? I hope that you are understanding this, and I really hope that you are really getting it, right? Because this is kind of the most important thing whenever you try to talk with marketing and whatever thing may be. You are not paying for the leads, you are paying for the keyword whenever you're trying to run Google Ads, right? And so if the only thing that you want to do as local remodeling contractors, right, is to talk with high income people, why do we want to bet into these types of keywords? Because we cannot choose what we want to talk with and what we want to work with, right? Now, here's where the difference with Facebook ads comes in place, right? The cool thing with Facebook ads is that you cannot specifically target any type of keyword, but you can specifically target a specific type of persona or user, right? And what this basically means is that it gets the targeting so much easier for yourself, right? So again, let's put it as an example that you are a contractor in Indianapolis and that your radius, the area where you basically deliver the services, is around 30 miles, right? Which is kind of the most common thing to do, right? And so your business is here, you deliver your services throughout 30 miles, throughout the whole Indianapolis, right? And so in here, there will be specific areas where you don't want to work with, right? Maybe there's, a zip code in here or a city in here that, there's bad people and there are homeowners that you don't want to deal with, right? Or there's a specific area just in the middle in here that you don't want to work with because, they're not financially qualified, or maybe it's an area that, there's people with guns and you don't want to involve yourself into getting killed or actually your sales reps into actually, getting shot, right? So the cool thing with Facebook ads is that you can literally exclude these areas, right? And the other cool thing with Facebook ads is that the more area you want to cover, the less money it's going to cost you to acquire a customer. And what this means is that, let's say that here in this area of around 3 miles, right, you have 3 million people, right? So if you're, for example, spending 30 bucks a day on Facebook ads, right, you're not going to reach 3 million people. What you're going to reach, if you're paying 30 bucks a day, you're going to reach around 1,000, maybe 800 people per day, right? And so what this essentially allows Facebook to do is, for example, if you're running, let's say, Facebook ads for your kitchen remodeling company, right? What this will say is, okay, we have 3 million people in here and we're running ads for kitchen and bathroom remodeling services, right? And so the cool thing that you can do with Facebook is, okay, I just want you to search for people that will not only be potentially interested in a kitchen remodeling, right? So people that could be potentially interested in a kitchen remodeling. But the cool thing that you can do is that you can not only exclude the zip codes that you don't want to work with. And so the cool thing is that since you're targeting 3 million people and you just want people that could be potentially interested in a kitchen remodeling, since you are giving Facebook more people to work with, it will be easier for them to find your desired prospect, right? And so let's say that instead of 30 miles, you go with 50 miles, okay? So instead of 3 millions, maybe it will be, 4 millions, okay? And so what this eventually will do is that it will be easier for Facebook to find your desired prospect. But here's another cool part about advertising yourself on Facebook. Remember that I told you that it is important to define the targeting that we want to run? So we can literally, it is again going to sound bad, but instead of just taking out the areas that we don't want to work with, we can just put the areas that we really want to work with, right? So let's say that in Indianapolis, there are, I'm going to basically do it with my mind, but there's Fishers in here, which is a great area, right? There's, I don't really remember the name, but there's another area here that is really a high income area, right? And so the cool thing is that instead of just running ads around a specific radius, you can just run ads to specific zip codes, right? And what this will eventually make for yourself is that you will be just running ads for people with a lot of money. And if you're also telling Facebook that you want people that has a lot of money, but also that is interested in kitchen remodeling, you're literally targeting your user persona, which will eventually make you get the desired outcome, which is actually getting people that is not only interested in your services, but it actually can afford it, right? And not only that, since you are reaching to your specific area, it will be somewhat cheaper for yourself, right? Because at the end of the day, you're not throwing money at a wall to see what sticks, right? You are throwing kind of in a specific laser targeted kind of bullet in a way that you're specifically telling Facebook what you want to target. And that's the cool thing. And so the reason why I'm recording this video is because honestly, I've talked with dozens of contractors. And whenever you tell them about that you can do this with marketing, it blows their mind away. Because I don't know if you actually remember that, but Mark Zuckerberg actually got involved in a lot of lawsuits because he was actually asking more information to its user than he was actually intended to, right? And so the lawyer actually interviewed him and said, why do you want to get such information? And it is not because Mark Zuckerberg is a weirdo and wants to know everything about us. It is because he just wants to make the best and profitable marketing platform so that we as business owners can specifically target what we want without having to spend tens of thousands of dollars. If we just run specific targeting that we know what we're targeting, we can all eventually, if we know what we're doing, we can all eventually be rich. Because whenever you have all of these systems in place, you have branding, people knows about yourself, you have marketing that actually targets the people that you want to target, you have all these things in place, it will be unreasonable for you to not grow the business, right? And so that is the whole grand of running marketing, and this is how you can actually run profitable ads for your own business. And I hope that you understand it. And I really try to make it as whole explanatory as possible. But even though, if you have any questions whatsoever, you can just leave it on the comments, or you can just shoot me a DM on Instagram, or I'm even going to leave my link of my website below. So you can, if you want to, schedule a call with myself and actually get to know what we can actually do for your own business. So yeah, on that note being said, I'm sure that I'm going to leave some videos around here that could potentially interact yourself. If not, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.